So the time has finally come to the fact that we finally get a look at the newest Battle Pass, the Guiding Star, which is the newest shot on the Battle Pass seasons for Crossout. This will be season, is this season 4 or 5? How many seasons did we have so far? This is season 5. So with this newest season, we will once again be getting a bunch of different parts. We're not going to get into all of them just yet, but there is so many new things in here that we're going to just have a good talk about today. And let's look at it straight away. So we're gonna start off with the cabins, because I know all of you guys always really care about the cabins, because those are the ones that bring in some pretty drastic changes to the gameplay, because they go alongside a lot of different weapons. So the first one is the epic cabin, the Aggressor. The Aggressor is a light cabin which will give you a perk that says for every 30 meters driven in a straight line, it receives a charge that increases the weapon damage by 7%, stacks up to 3 times when turning, and loses the charge every half a second. This means that when we drive with this cabin, as you can see, we get charges here, but we also slowly remove charges every time we correct or adjust the way that we drive. So you will potentially be able to get a bunch of charges with this cabin. There we are, as long as you go straight, and if you plan your route correctly, well, then you'll be able to constantly keep those charges just somewhat up. Now these charges means in total that you'll be able to get up to 21% damage increase with this when you go in a straight line, but just a tiny adjustment will instantly take away that 1 stack, bringing you down to 2. But if you can shuffle it between 2 and 3, then you will have a nice damage bonus at all times. The other new cabin that we will be getting is the Machinist, which is a new heavy cabin. Now this heavy cabin brings us a perk that says for each 1000 points of armored vehicles durability, increases the durability of the weapons mounted on the cabin by 5%. Maximum bonus is 20%. This means that, for example, if we were to bring in a Mastodon for this, the Mastodon will actually receive a total health pool of over 2000 durability. So you'll be able to get some really thick weapons with this new cabin. The most unique part about the Machinist cabin here, in my opinion, is the fact that this actually provides a... How many blocks is that? I think we're looking at just below 3 blocks of frame protection, because this cabin actually has a built-in bumper that covers your frames here, meaning that it will be all that much harder to get deframed when you use this cabin, especially against something like if you get attacked by a melee and the harvester goes into the frames, or if you get shot a bunch in your front with frames. Now it's worth noting that this is, as I said, only 3 blocks, I think, wide, so this does not mean that you simply cannot get deframed, because shots like a scorpion shot will still be able to go through and penetrate and grab the frames behind, but it definitely provides a new unique frame feature that we haven't seen before. Now this does also limit the way that you can build these a bit, because in order to get frames in front of the cabin, well, then you would have to build around this point right there. So you are also limited to the way that you can't just extend out that way in case you want stuff in front of the frame. But I am sure that people will quickly find a way around that won't limit you too much. Now, when it comes to the mounting points, this cabin has a good portion of mounting points, as you can see. The slightly slanted front here doesn't really provide us any mounting points at the front, but the sides, the top, as well as the rear all provide a pretty nice section there. Now, the bad thing about this cabin, or it's not a bad thing, but it would have been cool if it was possible, but sadly it is not. As you can see, we cannot hide an Apollo in there. We just do not have the room, so we would need to get rid of some of the frames in order to... Hello? Maybe get rid of these as well. In order to put it in there, but it's still going to be just slightly sticking down underneath your build. So again, you would have to fiddle with your frames if you wanted to perfect that. But you can put an Apollo in there somewhat, so that it is only a tiny bit of it showing, providing some decent cover for your Apollo. You can also stuff something like explosives and the like in there, meaning that this cabin is super good for heavier builds that you don't want to blow up immediately. And also, as you can see, we got plenty of layers if we take it from the side here and just move forward. So in case you get shot by scorpions from the front, they will not be able to pop you in there, because the scorpion can only penetrate a total of 7 layers. It just now occurred to me that you guys probably also want to hear the cabin engines as well as the horn, so let's just test those out while we are at it. Whoops. Now the Aggressor is the light cabin, and we're just gonna listen to the engine sound at that one as well, which in my opinion sounds so cool. Also, we have a new thing over here, but we're just gonna go take a look at that in a bit. But the horn on this cabin sounds like the following. So definitely some new unique horn sounds, which is also cool. So now that we looked at the cabins, let's take a look at the rest of the stuff in the battle pass, and we're just gonna take it from one end to the other here. So the very first thing that you get is the new special rarity recharge booster. So this is a recharge booster that gives us a total of 10% extra reloading for weapons and rockets. And for the people that do not buy the battle pass, they will be able to craft their own at level 7. And what is special with this battle pass is the fact that you actually get to, I think, also craft epic or upgraded versions of it. I don't have any idea how this is going to function, but it's going to be interesting to see what this means right there. But we'll have to see once the battle pass releases. So next up we have the buggy wheel, and the buggy wheel is a new light wheel which reduces the speed requirements for bonus activation by 40%, which does not stack. The bonus is reduced when used in conjunction with other wheels. This means that if you just put 2 of these wheels on a build and then you choose Bigfoots for the rest, the bonus is not 40%. To get the full 40%, you have to use only buggy wheels and nothing else. This wheel has a total power drain of 5%, which is the lowest that we have seen from an epic wheel so far, where the Hermit right now takes up a total of, let's see, there we are, 6%. Moving on to level 15, you will be getting the Buggy Wheel ST, which is the steering variant of it, giving extra tonnage and extra durability. And at this level, we also start seeing new parts, which we have not seen before, because this is a 6x3, a format that we haven't seen, I don't think, really before. That's a lie, because we have a couple of Founders parts at this shape and size as well, but these are way lighter than the Founders parts, making it easier to create light big builds. And then as we get to level 22, we get the Gremlin shotgun, which is the epic variant of the Goblin, and that is the first time in a very long time that we have seen a new weapon in this genre. So this weapon provides a perk that says when colliding with an enemy, the damage of the Gremlin increases up to 30% for 5 seconds. The bonus depends on the strength of the hit and is equally distributed between all mounted Gremlins. And honestly, this sounds like a weapon that could easily get some viability for the short range players, because the perk sounds like it has potential to be super strong in case you're running a fast build that rams into the enemy and then you follow up that ram with a good shotgun blast. I've previously had a lot of fun with the goblins, so the Gremlin will surely be a weapon that is worth trying as well. And as you can hear, the Gremlin provides a new shotgun sound as well. So not only is it a new weapon, but we also get some new lovely sounds. And there you are. You can see the perk. The more perk we get, the longer we'll also have the perk, because it counts down 1%, I think, every half second or something. But as you can see there, but if we stack that full 30%, well, then we'll also be able to keep the bonus for a longer period of time, even though the bonus is scaling down with every tick. At level 29, we get one of the more debated items, which is the KA2 flywheel, increasing weapon reloading of weapon and rockets by 20%. Now, this is the module that will be replacing the Colossus, as the Colossus has received a rather big change. We're going to get into the engine changes later, but for now, this is the flywheel. So a super heavy module. Doesn't look like it's a module that would deal any damage when it explodes, which is always something. So it's just something that will fall off in case it gets shot off. Worth noting is that both of these recharge boosters can only be installed once. As it says on the final line, you can only install one module that speeds up reloading. At level 36, we encounter a new Thresher grenade launcher. This grenade launcher is a somewhat new functionality of grenade launchers, even though we already have a lot of grenade launchers. And we also already have grenade launcher of epic quality. And this honestly doesn't feel much different from the original one, but the perk is a bit different. So it hitting the target at 20 meters distance increases the damage by 7% for 1 second, which stacks up to 5 times. So if you stack this perk 5 times, you'll have a total of 35% damage increase with this one, which is quite a lot. And the Thresher comes with 75 ammo as a base, and as you can see, this weapon has decent precision and a very, very fast fire rate compared to what we've seen on the other nade launchers. So definitely a scary weapon, and with that kind of precision, I predict that the perk is gonna hurt very, very much at specific power scores. It's looking like some serious business right there. So I kind of feel like this is one of those weapons that's going to end up being hit with, you know, a nerf eventually, and then people are going to be complaining that they released an OP weapon in the Battle Pass, just throwing it out there, and then I can say I told you so when we get there, or maybe you guys can tell me you were wrong. We're going to have to see about that. But then we get the Aggressor. We've already looked on that, so we don't have to look too much more at that. And some of these new parts, which is probably going to be something that you guys will like in case you are art builders. So we get parts that are now slanted on multiple sides for these nice looking corner pieces that can sometimes be a challenge. And that is just, in my opinion, a super cool addition. We also get this 5x3 piece here, and this piece is a 246x4. So some very cool new pieces. And then we have the introduction of the first legendary weapon, which is the M32 Vindicator. The M32 Vindicator is a new frontal legendary machine gun, which is a weapon that has a perk that says as the weapon heats up, its damage resistance increases by up to 40%. This means that you can get 40% on top of the durability that it has right now, which is also reflected in the fact that it actually has a pretty low durability if it is not heated or fused or anything like that. So it really comes down to how good you are at keeping that perk at max while you're playing this weapon. So the closer you are to 40 without overheating, the more durability your weapon also has, meaning that you can keep this weapon to some extent more tanky than it is otherwise. But if we don't have that perk, the weapon is going to fall off rather quickly. Besides that, there's not really a lot to it. It's just a frontal machine gun. So yeah, there it is. And then at 58, we are hit with yet another legendary weapon. This time it's the AC Auto Stillwind, which is the much anticipated legendary autocannon that was actually a legendary upgrade of the Whirlwind. This weapon brings in a very new interesting perk, which is the invisibility effect after the shot lasts for 2 seconds. So this basically means that once we mount this to our cabin with a cloak, well, then we get the unique feature of, we also need the cloak here. And by the way, the Chameleon has a new look, which looks absolutely insane. Look at that. It's very beautiful. But now that we have a Chameleon on this build, and as you can see, we can just shoot this thing like any autocannon. But if I use my cloak now and then I start shooting, bam, we don't get decloaked because we get a 2-second sort of free cloak where we don't really get decloaked at all while we're shooting, meaning that you can actually get some shots off of your enemy before they really know where you are. All they can see is just your shots, but they cannot see your ride. It's a very beautiful weapon indeed, and I think it's just so nice to see that it's finally here. It's at least a weapon that I've been anticipating for quite some time. The weapon is, however, still a huge weapon. It takes up 5 energy and has a decent mass. And then as we hit 66, we get the Machinist cabin, which we've talked about already. And then one of the only things that I'm a bit bummed about is all of the fact that all the stuff that we get for our garages. I really think there's a lot of stuff for our garages this time, and yeah, I don't know. I'm not too hyped about it. The garage edition is very nice indeed, but these new parts, I don't feel like they should be given in a battle pass because they don't really have any actual value for anyone. I know the banners don't either, but at least they bring some thematic to the entire battle pass, and you know, these dudes are sort of from the battle pass and the people driving the different cabins and stuff, a bit like the Doomsday, I think. So yeah, some of the stuff in here is not super exciting, but most of it is actually very exciting. I'm positive to see that with just an investment of $10 into this game, you can get yourself 3 legendaries, you can get yourself multiple epics as well as special rarity. So there is a lot of stuff to claim in this battle pass, and I think all in all, it brings some very nice new stuff to it. Now, before we go, we actually also have a new game mode, which is the Operation Gosu. So survivors, this is Naboku speaking. Your objective is to neutralize the Ravager objects at the specified coordinates. It's recommended to do it quietly. You will receive detailed instructions upon arrival. The Syndicate expects you to succeed. Do not fail us. And due to this being the test server, I cannot show you the game mode. So we're gonna have to see what that game mode is all about once the actual patch is here, which it will be tomorrow. But this is the new ship graveyard, however. I can show you that. Now, my immediate thoughts when I saw the new pictures was honestly, and yeah, let's just put it as it is. I'm kind of disappointed to see that this map has been taken out of the rotation for so long. Like, it's been taken out for so long. And while there are some changes to it, there's not a whole lot of changes to it. Most of these objects are as they've always been. Actually, pretty much all of them. I think all of these ships are like they used to. I see some slight changes up here, but you know, given the fact that they had so much time to redo this, I honestly expected to see a new map, as in a complete new map. Of course, still inspired by the original one, but this map does, to the biggest extent, just provide the same old experience that it did before. Some of these ships are broken up a little bit more, as you can see here. So this ground is a bit more open. Over there, it's a bit more open, but really, most of this is very much the same. And at least it's just nice to have a map back. But I gotta be honest with you, I didn't expect this to take so long, considering the changes to the map. But hopefully this will be back in the Clan Wars rotation, so we can once again have more maps there. I'm not sure about it, but we'll have to see. But yeah, we have one map back, then we just need 2 more, so let's pray that those don't take too long to get back. But that is pretty much all I have for you guys for today's video. Thank you so much for watching this. Stay safe until next time. Bye bye.